Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We're up to podcast number 13 and our last podcast for 2024, and we're looking at the Galactic Federation of Light.
Awesome topic. Very excited for the holidays. So I hope we've given you enough content to see you through until January.
I know. Well, you know what, guys? You can just, if you miss us, you can just go back and re-listen to our earlier podcasts. There's 13 of them now, so that should keep you going until we get back from holidays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of the content that we do use in our podcast, we do share also in our in-person Starseed circles and our online Starseed conference as well, which was, we did our very first one last month, right, Lauren?
Yeah, and it was amazing. It was, I don't know what I was really expecting, but it far exceeded my expectations.
Same. It's always, incredible. Yeah. Well, when you do something new, it's always like a hold your breath moment to see how it goes. But because it was online and we don't usually do our circles online, we have in person here in Sydney, we were wondering, would people have the same experiences? Would they feel the same energy through? And it's silly because you and I both work remotely from time to time and do online healing. So we know that the energy can be felt remotely. So it did work well. And I know you had an amazing experience, which like us as facilitators,
I know,
had some activations, but we didn't expect that, of course, all in the higher beings, that we too would also receive something, right? Lauren, you want to talk about
Susie was able to kind of open the space up and call in some higher beings to bring through healings and messages for I thought it would just be the people attending the conference.
I was like,
we're sitting up on our panel, and so it was Susie and I, and Susie's husband Ken, and then our beautiful friend and colleague Pat. So we were leading the conference, and after we had discussed our topics, which was really incredible. So we had a program that we discussed, and then we would open it up for questions. So we had a Q&A as well, which was really great. And we got some really great questions, didn't we?
Yeah. That was fantastic. Really all good. About ascension, the 340. Beautiful.
The whole thing was very high vibe. And then at the end, you opened the space up, called in higher beings who were able to bring in either messages or healings or activations for certain people in the group. And to my surprise, the Pleiadians, well, not to my surprise, Pleiadians always show up.
Surprised.
I was surprised though, for the Pleiadians showed up.
Oh my God, it's Lauren. They're here for Lauren.
The Pleiadians showed up to give me an activation, and boy, did they activate me.
That was awesome.
It was a big one, and I definitely felt the effects of that in the week after. It was very, 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 very powerful. So we had an amazing time. We were buzzing afterwards. Like, it was just incredible. And
and I had, after, not just yourself, Lauren, but a couple of the guests that were there. One called me, another one messaged me. So one of them, she's in her 80s and she's had this knee pain for like years, and amongst other things that she'd been getting healing for. But she told me that, and she's had it chronically for a while now. She told me that when the Pleiadians came through for her in the conference, like, she gave them permission, yes, you can. So they kind of integrated their energy with her. And so she's like, oh my goodness, am I getting some sort of upgrade or healing or something? What's going to happen? And then she told me the next day her knee pain was completely gone and it hasn't come back. And she's in her 80s, right?
I love that. That's
Isn't
so
that
great.
Cool?
Yeah, it's so incredible.
Cool.
I mean, and I think too,
there were so many amazing stories from what people received that night. I can't, we won't go into them all.
Yeah.
And I think we've shared some of the highlights on Instagram. Right?
Yeah, jump onto Instagram and you'll be able to see some of the highlights. It's on both of our Instagrams, and I think Sydney Energy Healing Hub as well. Do you know the other cool thing that I just realised when you were talking about that healing was what I loved about the conference was we had such a varying age range. You know, we had all different ages, and that was a really beautiful thing, you know, because people bring their own life experience and wisdom when they come into these circles, and I really appreciated that.
Absolutely true. So yeah, look, this is a good conference for anyone who lives interstate or overseas and wants in on all the starseed action from the Sydney Energy Healing Hub. But if you are listening and you live in Sydney, we do in-person ones, and we've actually upped the frequency of those because they are quite popular. And as of next year, I think, Lauren, I haven't told you this yet, but as of next year, we are actually creating streams. So if you're brand new and if you're new to this world and you know you have a lot of questions and you want to start with the basics, there will be a stream for people like you. So you can attend certain days and sessions with other people that are in the same boat as you. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
You don't feel lost. You'll get what you need. Everyone will get what they need. And if anyone has progressed beyond that and has more complex questions or wants to delve into more complex content, you'll be put in a stream with others that are in your kind of space at the moment as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's
really cool.
And so you've got to progress as you evolve. As you evolve, we're evolving for you.
Absolutely. So when is our next online Starseed conference? Is that the 21st of Feb?
Yes, it's Friday night.
Yeah.
Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Friday, the 21st of February.
Great. And tickets are on sale now for that one, aren't they? People can go.
They are. Yes, correct, Lauren. So they can go to the Sydney Energy Healing Hub Instagram page and purchase that with the link in our profile bio, or call the Sydney Energy Healing Hub to get your ticket, or email us at info@sydneyenergyhealinghub.com.au.
Great. Fantastic. Well, let's get started on today's topic, the Galactic Federation of Light. So who are the Galactic Federation, Susie?
Wow. Okay. So Lauren and I have sourced this info from the Akashic Records and our own personal experiences with all of these species as well. So I'm going to read out what came through when I downloaded from the records. Okay. So the Galactic Federation of Light is made up of varying species that were formed in response to the invasion of the reptilian forces. They are those who are service to others, so they serve the light and wanted to align their allegiance to serve the light, so they formed and created the Galactic Federation. So do we want to talk about, and then I asked about the species, so which species are represented in the Federation?
Yeah.
Some of these species, guys, like I hadn't actually heard of or done an Akashic record reading on anyone before, so this was news to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So I was told the species of the Z system, so the Zeta Reticuli, the Palladians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Venusians, Andromedans, Antarians, so they're from Antares, Alpha Centaurians, that's the closest planet to Earth. So that's nice to know that they're part of their federation since they're our neighbors.
That's sure, right?
Yeah. And then Cassiopeia. So the Cassiopeians, which I was told are feline-looking, jaguar-looking beings.
Yeah.
Humanoid jaguar feline beings. And then the planets of the Aries constellation. So Hamal, Sheraton, and Mesatham. They're 3 planets in the Aries constellation that include species in the Galactic Federation.
Wow.
Sounds like we're well represented in the universe.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. And is it true in saying that, and this is something we chatted a little bit about, that the way that the Galactic Federation was formed, it came together from all of the other councils that were sort of representing their planets at the time. So, for example, like the Pleiadian Syrian High Council, they came in and helped form the Galactic Federation. It's sort of like we were saying, it's kind of like I guess an Earth example is, and take this with a grain of salt, guys, because
Earth's tricky. I don't know what you're going to say.
Would be the United Nations, right? So where you've got like a grain of salt, because obviously we know there's a lot of corruption in our government systems, and maybe the United Nations is not as effective as what it could be. But just the example I mean is that you've got representatives from each country, which is essentially what the Galactic Federation was. It was the councils, all the councils from the different planets came together
in this universe.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we want to ask, why was the Federation formed? And the information that I received was it was formed in response to the invasion of the reptilian forces, which we've spoken about in previous episodes, right?
Yeah.
Lauren?
Yeah, those reptilians at it again.
They've been sin binned in our universe, so they have to form a council to
they've got to form a whole federation to keep them under control.
Oh my goodness. So those who were in service to others wanted to align their allegiance to serve the light. They created the Federation. One of the projects the Alliance were concerned about, so the Federation of Light were concerned about, was the Earth project being destroyed. Yeah. This Earth project was already well underway, the cosmic seeding or the nurturing and gardening of Earth and the beings on Earth. Source had given Earthlings free will, and they were like the babies of the universe who were being nurtured and grown in a garden. The higher beings were concerned that the Earthlings' evolution would be cut short or disturbed in some way by the reptilian forces.
There we go.
Yeah. Isn't that
it's really like the preservation of life and creation, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that they're responsible for, obviously, stopping those dark forces as well, and the ascension process too.
And this can be all linked back to, our previous series on Atlantis and Lemuria. I mean, now we understand why Atlantis had to go down, and we've discussed that in length and detail. The Federation made that call, and it wasn't an easy call to make, but they knew if they didn't, the Earth and part of the universe would be destroyed. And so they did that in the best interests of everybody.
Yeah.
So, and it was some of the reptilian forces that infiltrated the elites and the government of Atlantis. And that's pretty much why they told all ETs to get out off planet, out of Earth, and confusing the Earthlings and manipulating them.
Yeah,
and grow and flourish on their own now. So, trying to do.
And Susie, just remind everyone listening, if they haven't listened to our previous podcast or they've forgotten, and this is something that I remember you talking about in our online conference, like at what point is the Galactic Federation allowed to come and intervene and help? Because they're not allowed to just intervene whenever they want, are they? There's rules.
No, they can't. I mean, they stop negative forces from coming into Earth, as in ET forces coming into Earth and disrupting us. That is one of the, things that they do. They do that as much as they possibly can, right? They can still infiltrate via telepathic means, as we discussed before. The shape-shifting business they send their own starseeds, etc., that sort of thing. Sorry, Lauren, I went off topic.
That's your train of thought. So I think it's something like you said, and I might you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the percentage was if the Earth was at risk of like 80% blowing up or something like that they're allowed to come and intervene.
Yeah. So this statistic I pulled from a really good book that you guys might want to read called The Law of One. It's a channeling by the Ra Collective. So Ra, a collective at the 5th or 6th density that come from Venus, and they're part of the Federation. So they basically said that if we are at risk of blowing up at least 75% of our planet, they will intervene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. So that's what happened.
Guys.
Yeah. So that's what happened in Atlantis, basically. And so that's interesting because, like when we have all this kind of like nuclear testing going on and talk of like nuclear war, and then, we don't get blown up. Guess what, guys? Guess who's looking out for us?
Exactly. Thank you, cosmic family.
You. And so how else are they able to, the Galactic Federation, because I know there's lots of rules, but how else are they able to sort of help us on Earth in terms of like starseed beings and stuff like that?
Well, this is really exciting. A close friend of mine, and we all suspected this because we talk about this stuff all the time, right, Lauren? We all suspected that this is happening, and this is definitely happening. This time, the strategy is to send the starseeds and place them in positions where they can affect the masses from the ground up, not the top down.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is it's extremely important to understand this. So in the past, and I'm talking about Atlantis, etc., when they've sent starseeds to help or affect change from at a top level, at a government or a ruler type level, what happens is they are cornered by the dark forces or agenda at the top, and there's a lot of it at the top. Yeah, a lot of corruption, a lot of darkness, a lot of agenda at the top. They're cornered and they're not allowed to kind of affect change in terms of sharing that change with the masses. And so what ends up happening is a lot of that good stuff that they come in with, the change, the learning, the light, it gets kind of stuck at the top and it doesn't filter down. And so the elites and the those in charge at the top want to keep that information and that wisdom at the top for selfish purposes. And so the people, the masses at the bottom don't receive that. And it's really, like, we can use Pharaoh Akhenaten from ancient Egypt. He's a really good example of that. If you're into ancient Egypt history, look up the story of Akhenaten. He's the only pharaoh in the history of ancient Egypt that he openly said he was in contact with a higher wisdom. Okay, we understand ETs. I've seen in the records that is the case. But he's the only pharaoh that preached and advocated for one source of light, one deity, one being, one sort creator.
Yeah.
So he shut down all the temples that were worshipping different ETs. I call it ETs because that's what the ancient Egyptian deities were. Going to do a whole series on this next year.
Yeah, it's going to go for weeks and weeks. I can't wait.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming for you guys next year. You guys are
incredible
with the content that we're going to reveal.
Yeah, we've just been warming up this year, haven't we?
Yeah, the warm up. So he shut down all the multiple deity worship temples, and he recreated just one worship towards one creator. And I can't remember what he called him. He gave it a name, Amun something.
I think it wasn't Amun Ra, was it?
Something like that, or Amenaten or something, right? Akhenaten, Akhentatn. And then once the poor guy died, all the corruption and everything, they overruled. They took his son. They overruled his son.
Yeah.
Everything went back to the old ways and the way that it was. So he was trying to create unity and bring everyone together under one source of light, one source of love. Poor guy tried. He
tried. And this is what we refer to as unity consciousness when we're talking about that, which is what we're trying to evolve towards, and what a lot of our off-planet friends and brothers and sisters have been able to achieve on their planets, and that we've been able to achieve in past lives when we've been off planet. So yeah, that is interesting. That's going to be an interesting timeline to look at, because I had a past life during that time, which I didn't talk about. I was there. Oh, I haven't even worked through it properly yet, so I'll try and work through it before.
We'll get there.
Well, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Interesting that, we're talking about, because I think that's an important point with all of this kind of starseed stuff, that we try and make sure that we're not, I guess, glamorizing it and also putting people up on pedestals around it, because the reality is that most starseeds have been placed in very ordinary but extraordinary situations, they've got regular jobs, they've got families, they're sons and daughters, they're best friends of people, they're living a regular life, but they're, attempting to affect great change from the grassroots level up.
Absolutely. And that's the strategy. It's changed. Now they're sending us starseeds in and putting us at the ground level. So where the masses are, affecting change at the bottom, because we are the majority people. Look what's happening in the world now. The masses are calling out for change. We're calling out for a commission on COVID. And what is the truth? Everyone wants the truth. Everyone is the same. We just want the truth. We're all calling out for that. And look at the collective, how they voted in, new leadership overseas. And now the collective are calling out for justice amongst the celebrities who have been found to be doing awful things. Yeah. So that is the masses. And then there's protests going on all around the world for an end to this war in Palestine and Israel, the Gaza Strip. Yeah. Like, we're all kind of banding together and asking for change, which is how it's meant to be, because we are the ones at the bottom in the masses that are receiving the light and activating, and we're able to share all of that with each other, as opposed to keeping it or being overrun at a top level, keeping it to ourselves, being overrun and kind of suffocated at that top level, because it is quite suffocating being at the top.
Definitely. Well, the way the top is at the moment, right? So what will happen over time, and this will take time, is that, that grassroots level will grow, and eventually those people will come into leadership positions. Yeah. And, clear out the corruption. It's just going to be a process, this is going to take years and years, but we're doing it and we're seeing it happen, and it's going to look messy for a while. It's meant to be messy. We're dismantling major systems and structures, thousands of years worth of oppression. So it's not going to look pretty, but just know that it is fueled by the light.
Absolutely. And a dear friend of ours, she had a QHHT recently, and the message that came through her from the Federation was that they have placed starseeds in every facet of society here on Earth, in healthcare, in education, in finance and banking. And the reason why is because these people are going to affect change, like I said, from the bottom down, but they're dismantling archaic systems. So right now, you are get the popcorn out, guys. We are at a stage in humanity where we are witnessing the slow but sure dismantling of archaic hierarchical systems that represent the toxic masculine, the imbalance that is here on Earth. It's being dismantled, and it will come back into balance. So
what a time to be alive. And I think it's really important, like, if you guys are listening at home and you're listening to Susie and I, and obviously the work that we do is we are here to kind of help people wake up, and we're both healers. Not not all starseeds are healers. So don't kind of look at us and sort of think, oh, well, I'm not really like them, so I might not be a starseed. I've got kind of a regular job. We used to have regular jobs too, guys. Like, so but you know, we really did, didn't we? We need to have starseeds in every system and structure. So it's not this sort of like spiritually bypassy kind of thing where, you know, like everyone's going to be healers or meditation teachers and stuff like that. Like, no, we're going to have like doctors and nurses and teachers and lawyers.
Absolutely.
You know,
look at our center, the Sydney Healing Hub. I can say this with complete conviction that this building is an example of a new earth medical center.
Absolutely.
I have doctors here, nurses here. You know, most of regression practitioners here, body workers here. Every single one of them are a starseed. My whole building is operated by starseeds, but they are operating with the mind, the body, and the spirit. They've made that full connection, and that is what they preach, teach, and diagnose and prescribe onto their clients and their patients so that they receive healing from a very deep level that is sustainable and not reversible. We're not putting Band-Aid solutions on people.
No, not at all. And that's so interesting. Yeah, most of us in that centre come from a traditional health background. You know, and it's an incredible place to work. It's incredible to witness those shifts and changes for people. It's amazing to just watch people get better.
Absolutely. And sometime next year, we're going to get Dr. Jenny from our centre onto the podcast as a guest.
Jenny, she's amazing.
We will ask her questions about what she's up to, and maybe, you know, even if some of her patients want to come on and share their experiences too. Tease her when I see her. I call her, hey, New Earth Doctor.
You love it. She's the best. And, you know, maybe if you guys have questions, you could write in and we could see if she could answer some of your questions as well, which I think would be very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Susie, we've just about run out of time. We could keep talking all day, but we can't. Okay. So what have we got lined up for the new year?
Oh my goodness, what do we have? Okay, straight off the bat, because it's Christmas, we will mention that we are going to start dissecting. Drum roll. We need drum roll here.
Drum roll.
We're going to start dissecting the Jesus timeline.
Wow, my goodness.
Jesus as a starseed. Was he a starseed?
Jesus as the ascended Mars.
Who is he? Why did he come to Earth? What was he doing here? What was his mission and the message or whatever? And what really happened? What really happened on Earth when Jesus' mission was in full swing? What was his mission exactly?
And it's been a real... you know, the Jesus timeline's been a real passion project for you and I this year, and some of our friends and colleagues. So it's going to be really exciting to talk about it. We're going to have some special guests on as well who are going to help us dissect that. Some of our dear friends and colleagues will be along for the ride, which will be fantastic. I can't wait.
This is huge, guys. This is so huge that we had to pull in other people to help break it down. I will just tell you where our sources of information have come from, so you can buckle up and get ready for January. We've all had QHHT sessions. Most of the people in my center have got the access to that, so we've all done that. Retrieved information on the Jesus timeline that way. I've had clients come in where I've accessed the Akashic records and got information that way. Lauren has past life memories of her own involvement in that timeline, and so do a few others that work here. So I got goosebumps just then because I'm really excited to share this info with everybody. And hey, it's not for the faint-hearted, so you got to come with an open mind and be ready to receive, because there is a lot of content out there, conflicting information, and we just want to set the record straight. We've actually been asked to share it with everyone.
Yeah.
Set the record straight because you guys are ready to hear the truth.
And
right?
you know what's interesting about the way that the information came through is that stuff was coming through in dribs and drabs, and we weren't all necessarily sharing with each other. So I know from my experience, it wasn't something that I openly talked about with anybody. And then, you know, information was coming out through QHHTs and I'm like, oh, you know, it matches up with my information. I think I only told you about my experience and that was it. Didn't tell anyone else. Even the other week, I was having a conversation with one of our colleagues about it and they said, oh, I didn't realize, you know, that matches up with A, B, and C that I experienced. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, so it's really, really cool. So we've been able to kind of, you know, we've been able to put together the story from taking from lots of different sources, basically. Yeah.
They all collaborate, which is incredible, mind-blowing. So,
and different practitioners. So it's not all come from one practitioner either, which I think is really important. So it's not, you know, there's no conflict there. It's not biased information. It's just what we've been able to piece together, which is really incredible. Can't wait. Mm-hmm. We hope that you guys have an amazing holiday period. It's been incredible doing this podcast this year and delivering this information. Yeah. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you so much.
The amount of people that, you know, see us both in person and thank us and say how much they're loving our episodes. We want to thank you guys because we wouldn't be here without you guys and your support and your great feedback.
Yeah, we love it. We love the feedback, so keep it coming. We love meeting you in person when we get to do that. It's always a nice surprise. I had someone the other day come up and say, oh, Lauren, how are you going? And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know this person. She's like, sorry, I recognize you from the podcast.
Oh my goodness, there you go. You got recognized too. How awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it was so lovely to meet her. So it was nice to have a chat about that. I want to thank you, Susie, as well, because it's been amazing working with you and doing this year, and I can't wait to keep doing it with you.
We've had fun, haven't we, Lauren?
So much fun. We love it. It's great.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
And happy holiday, and we'll see you in the new year.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.